My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Thanks for joining me today. I have a question for you. What is it that causes you to shut down your receiving? So what is that trigger or that person or situation that activates you being in a total shutdown of receiving? That's what I would love to explore with you today, and to see what if in the face of anything, you can still receive. And what if it is actually really safe and safer to receive than you might think? So receiving is not taking it. Receiving is not a doormat. Receiving is not a whole bunch of things that we've been kind of sold that it is. Receiving, true receiving, is stepping into being. And from there, so it's a stepping into, and you receive all that the universe has to offer you. So let's look at that in the face of, let's say, judgment, okay? So perhaps someone's judging what you're wearing. People judge what I wear all the time, so I'll use that. So I become aware of the judgment, and our awareness comes so much faster and quicker than our mind will be able to comprehend. Awareness is instant. So the moment you even meet someone, you're already aware, but often a lot of us are aware before we've even reached them, before they've even, let's say, for example, seen what I'm wearing. And I already have an awareness of what will occur when we engage. And if I have resistance to judgment, I will already be aware of all the judgments that will be coming my way. And then I will be already shutting out and blocking all of my receiving of that judgment, and often our receiving of the awareness of the judgment, because we don't even want to know or believe that someone would judge us for that. How often do you think to yourself, oh, I didn't want to know that, or I don't even want to know? Like, lie to me. I've said that before. I'm like, how awesome is this? And lie to me. And you do it in a playful way. But a lot of us in the background would rather not know. Ignorance is bliss, right? Wrong. It's not bliss. It's actually putting up your walls and barriers to something and pretending and avoiding what you're aware of does not actually create true freedom. So where you bought that was going to create freedom for you, will you destroy and uncreate all of that? Here comes the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100, shorts, boys, poets, creations, spaces, and beyonds. If you want more information on the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, please go to www.clearingstatement.com. There's always a link in the description, and explore that. It's a magical way to change energy. And all the tools that I talk about here on the show are always Access Consciousness tools. They're amazing. Okay, so here we are with receiving. Let's talk more about when we shut down and why we shut down. and then we'll see if we can go further, okay? So a lot of us have kind of these built-in response systems. So, for example, when I was younger, if anyone directed sexual energy my way, I would go to shut down. Well, sorry, if any men would direct sexual energy my way, especially older men, I would go to shut down because of a million reasons. So that would shut down my receiving. Well, we know in Access Consciousness that sexualness is the ultimate receiving. So, being the energy of sexualness, which is healing, caring, nurturing, creative, generative, joyful, expansive, orgasmic energies of life and living. These are like, this is the zest for life. This is the life force that we have, that nature has, that animals have, babies have. Okay. So, that's not sexuality, that is sexualness. And so, when that uh, lust would be directed at my body as a child, I would go into this weird, like, shut down of my receiving because I thought there's something wrong with me to receive that. Isn't that funny? Um, okay, so everything that brings up for you and everyone, maybe you've been there and done that. Can we destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good or bad, pocket pod, all 100 shorts, voice, poets, creations, bases, and beyonds. It's okay to bring up this stuff and then we clear it out, right? So that trigger I had to work at because even it kind of went through in my adult life. So there was obviously certain men that I would be fully willing to receive, but those that felt like a little either unsafe or maybe I didn't enjoy their energy, I would I would shut down my receiving. Now, here's the danger in that. Your receiving is literally your ultimate power. Your receiving lets you know if you're actually safe, if someone's going to um, take action against you, if you need to leave the room. Your receiving allows you a universe of awareness. So the last place that you want to be shutting down your receiving is when someone that you don't feel safe around is directing energy at you. You're handicapping yourself. But what we think is happening is that if we shut down our receiving, it won't hurt so much. Then we can deal with it better. We can probably just leave our body and let our body handle it alone. Woo, everything that brings up and lets down. Can you destroy it and create it, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all 100 shorts, boys, puppets, creations, bases, and beyonds. Your receiving is your receiving is the only way to be safe. Safety doesn't actually exist. Like right now, a meteor could literally land on my house. Like anything could happen at all times. It is only my intensity of awareness that would allow me to choose that which would always keep my body from harm. So we got to clear these reactions, right? So this energy would come at me, I would shut down my receiving as a as if that was protection. If I was around people I really, really cared about and my enthusiasm or even my presence seemed like it would like annoy them, oh my God, I would shut down my receiving. And with that, so here's the thing. Receiving, perceiving, knowing, and being are all intermingled. Okay. So when you shut down one, you shut down all. So if I shut down my receiving, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be aware of that. And I've also shut down my perceiving so I don't perceive it energetically, right? How much of my very being do I have to shut down? And then my knowing. And for what? So now I'm a quarter or a tenth of who I actually be as a way to avoid what I've decided is going to hurt me. decided that that information about their annoyance is going to hurt me. And here's the funny thing. Most of the time, it's not even personal. Most of the time, people's judgments or thoughts or feelings about you kind of have nothing to do with you, which is crazy because we think it all has to do with us, right? But it doesn't. When you're really enthusiastic and someone is annoyed with you, it is just a way for them to control the energy that you're being that is changing something for them. So your enthusiasm can actually spark their enthusiasm. And if they're committed to not having enthusiasm, they need to shut you down. Your enthusiasm can wake up bodies. And if they're committed to having their body shut down, they need to shut you down. If your enthusiasm is something that they were made wrong for and they were judged for it sometime, then they have to shut you down because they've aligned and agreed that it is wrong to be so enthusiastic. Do you see how it has nothing to do with you? It truly has nothing to do with you. Every judgment that's ever been directed at you has nothing to do with you other than to control you. Yeah. So here we are, triggered all the time, and we're shutting down our receiving, our perceiving, our knowing, and our being so that others can control us. And what we've told ourselves is this keeps us safe or this whatever, fill in the blank for you. And this is when I want you to get curious, right? What is it for you? What's the reward that you bought that you would get if you shut down your receiving? And just get aware of that. What's the punishment you decided you would receive if you didn't shut down your receiving? So criticism, ridicule, maybe even physical harm. Everything that is, everything this brings up and lets down, will you destroy it and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100 shorts, boys, robots, creations, bases, and beyond. Oof. Yeah. So what is it that shuts down your receiving? And who and what shuts down your receiving? And if you're willing to start to become aware of this, you can go, okay, wow, this particular energy, for some people, it might be anger. Maybe you grew up in a house where there was a lot of yelling going on or a lot of anger being enforced on people. And so when someone gets angry, maybe your partner might even get angry and you just go to a complete shutdown. You can't even, but being willing to receive that energy of anger. And again, receiving doesn't mean you take it. It doesn't mean, okay, I'm your punching bag now. Have at it. Receiving is stepping into being. Okay, so you direct anger at me right now. Your more fiercest anger. And if I lower my walls and barriers all the way down, because I know that it's just energy, it's just energy with a name on it. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's not good, it's bad, it's just energy. Anger is just energy. Okay, so you're directing this anger at me, and I step into receiving it. And I let it go through. I don't hold it in my body. I don't make it real. I don't make it more powerful. I just let it go through. And then I receive information about what's actually going on. And I receive information about what's required for me to have ease here and what's required for me to create change if that's possible and to step away if it's not possible. Receiving is a huge conversation. Receiving is something that you could spend a lifetime working on. I know I have been. My receiving did a massive change a few years after my divorce or separation, rather, um, because I never felt it was safe to receive from him. He was extremely abusive in all the ways, and I was doing my best to cope with it, and coping required me to shut down my receiving. my being, my perceiving, and my knowing. And when I chose to not cope with it anymore and to actually handle it and to actually change my life, I had to allow myself to receive. And receiving is what allows money to come into your life, to allow kindness and caring, loving energies, orgasmic energies, miraculous things to come into your life, show up with a willingness to receive. Often we will connect receiving with all the negative things, but receiving is here for all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can't filter receiving. It's you receive it all or you don't. And we'd like to pretend that we could just pick and choose what we receive, but really, it doesn't work that way. But what if the safest you can be is to have ultimate receiving? What if the most joyful you can be is to have ultimate receiving? What if ultimate receiving actually allows your body to feel so good? It allows your life to get so much greater. And what if from that space, that's the safest that you could be, the happiest that you can be from ultimate receiving? So get clear on those reactionary realities that you have and start to clear those reactions because these autoresponders happen in an instant. And we can go into a shutdown of receiving and not even realize that it's happened. Yeah, it could even be if you experience like PTSD, let's say, for example, something really traumatic happened. It could have been maybe you were in a car accident or someone that you really cared about was on an airplane accident or something, right? And so what would happen is, or maybe there was gunshots in your neighborhood and that was really, really triggering and that locked into your body as PST, um, PTSD. That's what I'm trying to say. Not a time zone, PTSD. I have dyslexia and sometimes acronyms go a little wonky in my head. So here you are and you hear a car backfire and you trigger into, oh my God, gunshots. Do you expand your receiving? So am I safe? Am I okay? Or do you actually go into shutdown of receiving? Oh my God, I like, I don't like, I'm so contracted. So depending on how you function with it, you might go one way or the other. I personally have made a demand to go, okay, ultra aware. What do I need to be aware of right now? Was that a gunshot? Was that something else? Is my body safe? Are my kids safe? These are questions, right? I go into question and I go into expanding my awareness, expanding my zone. For others, something happens that triggers and they collapse. And this was me with any kind of sexual energy as a child. I would collapse in on myself, becoming less aware, less being, less knowing, less perceiving. I've had to work at, okay, that sexual energy is being directed at me. I'm gonna fucking open up to receiving all of this so I can be truly aware, truly safe, and use it to my advantage. Because again, it's just energy. At the time, it was terrifying. And now I'm like, okay, cool. That person wants to direct an intense amount of sexual energy at me. Can I use it to my advantage? Yes, no, no, okay. I'm gonna leave. Yes, okay. What's required here? And that doesn't mean like what you might think it would mean. Like using that sexual energy to my advantage doesn't mean like I'm gonna go sleep with someone to get something that I want, but maybe they're a car salesman and I might flirt a little bit and see if I can get a better deal. Or just be present with it and don't judge him because some him, her, whatever. I imagine if they direct that intensity of sexual energy at people that haven't given them any indication that they're interested, they probably get judged a lot. And they might not even know that they're doing it. And if you can be a space of no judgment, gosh, you can change people. You can open up their worlds to infinite possibilities. So you could be a gift to them in consciousness and receive a gift for you. What could you receive today that you never imagined possible? And it might take a little work for you. It's okay. That's all right. Just work at it. Engage with it. See what shows up. And it might be really easy for you. And you might be like, wow, yeah, I am changing this today. I'm going to clear all of my triggers. I'm going to be really aware when they show up, and then I'm going to clear them so that I can have the freedom to receive infinitely, which gives you the freedom to be infinite and to know infinitely and perceive infinitely. So all the triggers, you can, if you want to clear them, you could say you can, for a short version of all the things, you could even say all the big five. So the big five represent these five energies. I'm not going to go into it so much today. But in those energies are needs of reactionary realities and needs of response systems. And these are where you respond and you react. And some of those responses and reactions are shutdowns. They are a total shutdown of your receiving. So all of those that you have and that you've bought from others, will you destroy and create them all, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, creations, species, and beyonds. Thank you so much for exploring receiving with me. I hope that you have a little bit more freedom and a little bit more space around this topic and clear some of those triggers so that you can have just the joy of receiving in your life. So thank you for joining me on the Curious Universe podcast, where we bypass the structures of this reality so you can create your own reality. And I'll see you in the next show. Bye for now. Thank you for exploring the Curious Universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?